Hi everyone, if you didn't know me already, my name is Anna and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you all of my favorite makeup products from 2018. So in today's video I have gathered all of the products which I've been using the most this year and put it onto my desk. These may not necessarily be products from 2018 itself, but these are the products which I've been using the most, which I feel like have drawn my attention the most, and products which I've been really loving. So with all of that being done and said, this is going to be a long one, so get ready you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Bye! So let's get started you guys. I already did my eyebrows because I have a whole separate video on how I do my brows nowadays, especially my Instagram brows, and I used like all of my favorite products in that video, so I thought it would be kind of redundant to do that again as well. So we're going to be starting off with priming our face. For primer, my favorite one is still the Galan or Golden something primer. I think that this has been around for a longer time now. I think like 2016, but literally nothing compares to this baby. So I just like to take one pump and kind of put it on my cheeks because it's like $70 or something. So I use like one pump and that's it, just trying to do my whole face with it. And I kind of massage this just into the skin, and then to get it tacky, once it's all over my skin, I kind of like tap on it, and that way after like 30 seconds or something it becomes tacky, and I think that the foundation kind of holds better onto it. I don't know if it's like actually a thing, but yeah. Another primer which I still wanted to mention is the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. I bought this when I was in LA and it has done absolutely wonders for my skin, especially if I struggle more with oily skin on some days. I just apply it around my nose and here on the beginnings of my cheek, and it just blurs everything. This is absolutely a crazy product. So as for foundation, it was really hard to pick my favorite one. I don't know what was up with 2018 and everyone stepping up like their foundation game. I have had so many amazing foundations this year that it was really hard for me. But eventually I settled on the NYX Professional Makeup Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. So this foundation is actually still not available in the Netherlands. I do know that it is like available in Germany, but I got it from NYX Professional Makeup when I was in LA, and before I got it I was already so excited about this foundation just because of the shade range and reviews which I have seen of the foundation, that I was already really excited. But for some reason like drugstore foundations have never really worked for me in the past, but this year has just been crazy for drugstore foundations. I also really enjoy the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, which is also like a drugstore foundation, but they really stepped up their game. It's sickening. But as you guys can see, the coverage of this as well, it is so good. I also use this on a daily basis for when I go to work or to school. I usually then put on my makeup at like 6 in the morning and I get home at 7 or even 8 sometimes, and I don't have to do any touch up during the day. It is so freaking good. And if you guys are interested in any of the other foundations which I was talking about, I'm planning on uploading a whole foundation breakdown video for you guys. So all the foundations which I have in my collection, I will be giving a quick review on what I would recommend, what I like, what I don't like. So stay tuned for that, so you can subscribe and ring the bell if you don't want to miss that. So that is for foundation. This is one of my holy grails nowadays, and it's also very affordable, and it's in like 40 or 45 shades or something. It's absolutely sickening. It will be available in the Netherlands in about January, I believe. So if you don't have it yet, be patient because it is coming. So next up for cream contouring, I have two products which I really enjoy, and I like to use a combination of both. I first always go in with my Fenty Beauty Matchstick, and this is in the color Amber. And this is one of my favorite cream contour sticks of all time. Look at that color. You can't really find anything that is a good cream product for if you're as pale as I am, because things usually tend to get too orange. And when contouring you want to create shadows, and shadows usually have a cool undertone, and this product is just so amazingly good for that. Another one which I also really like is from the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit, the fair one. I think it's called Fawn or something, that shade. It's also really good, but I just feel like this one blends a bit better for some reason, and also in like the application, because you have a stick, it just applies really easily and really fast, and I don't have to dirty up any more brushes, which I then eventually would have to clean later again. And you can also see how easily this blends in. I do have to drag my beauty blender just a little bit, which you're not actually really like supposed to do, but it does the trick, honestly. So, and I've actually been like recommending this product to everyone when they're like, do you know a good cream contour product? I'm like, try Fenty, try Fenty. So the next product I have is the Charlotte Tilbury Contour one in medium fair. I don't know what it is with me in 2018. I usually never like to use bronzers, just because it always makes my face look really orange, and I didn't like that. I always felt like I was 14 again, and I didn't know where I could get like the right foundation shade for me. So I never really liked bronzer, but this year has really turned something around for me, especially like in the summer. I've been getting into bronzers like crazy, and I still use them on like a daily basis. And this product is just really easy to just blend it in and bring a tiny bit more color to your face. And then also just a tiny bit here on the upper forehead, kind of like I've been hit by the sun. As for favorite concealers in 2018, I've been really loving the Cover FX Power Play concealer. I used the one in N-Fair 1. I also still really enjoy the Tarte Shape Tape foundation, but that one is also like 2016, I believe. So I thought that I could throw this one in here, just to keep it kind of like in the newer products section. And I also got this concealer when I was in LA, but I do know that if you're in Europe, you can order this from Beauty Bay. Like if you ever see like any products from American influencers and you know they're not available in like retail stores in your country, like check out Beauty Bay or Cult Beauty. They're like these UK websites which sell a lot of like American brands which are very hard to get here, but you don't have to struggle with like the insane cost which comes with shipping and like taxes for importing them. I already have a sneak preview of one of my favorite palettes of 2018, but I need something in which I can check if I blended all of my concealer correctly. So for next up, loose setting powders. I've been a big fan of baking my eyes for the past 2 years. I struggle a lot with my concealer creasing underneath my eyes in my lines, and baking is just a technique which really helps. I know a lot of people don't really like baking just because it's a very heavy makeup technique. It's a personal preference. You don't have to wear as much makeup as I do, but this is just something which really works for me. And I once again wanted to mention too, just because I've been loving both so much that I wouldn't really know which one I like more. And so one is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder, which I will be using. It has been so good, and I really like that it comes in multiple shades as well. And then another one, I don't know if this is like a 2018 product because it isn't available in Europe. I also got this one when I was in LA. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder. But as I said, right now I'm going to be using this one just because this one isn't very available. I've also never seen the Maybelline Loose Setting Powder until I was in LA. Like they don't sell it in Europe or in the Netherlands anywhere, I believe. So I figured to not really show that one as much, just because I always get really upset when I see influencers or anyone else use products that I fall in love with and then I find out that I can't get it anywhere basically. But I do think that it is coming to like the Netherlands and to like the European market. I think we'll just have to be a bit more patient, but I really hope that it gets onto the European market because it's such a good loose setting powder. And then I'm just quickly taking a Anastasia A19 brush and just applying a bit more powder to like my forehead and dusting away some of that bake underneath my eyes. Like I also let my bake sit for like about 30 seconds or something, not even really that long, but it makes such a huge difference in my makeup that I really like to use it. So next up, powder contouring products. I don't have much powder contouring products. I have like the Kat Von D Shade Light palette, which is cancelled, but I still have it because I sometimes still like to use it because our products are really good. But enough said about that one. The Anastasia Beverly Hills contouring powder palettes are also amazing. Like their fawn shade as well in that palette is really good. But this palette came out in 2018. This is the MAC Cosmetics Studio Fix Sculpt and Shape Contouring Palette, and I really like to use the colors Taupe and Sculpt, which are very light and nice contouring powders. And I'm applying this with a Anastasia A7 brush, and just kind of lightly to kind of make that contour on my cheeks a bit more stand out. Like up until a few weeks ago, I started using this brush a bit more. I used to use a blush brush to do my contouring with, but it would always look kind of muddy and not as precise, and using a brush like this, it just makes such a huge difference. I've been really liking it. And now for bronzer. As I mentioned, I have been loving bronzers this year, so it was really hard for me to choose one. But I eventually settled on the Too Faced Cocoa Contouring Palette, just because I felt recommending this product would be really nice, because in this palette you have a lot of different shades. And I have been using this palette for about like the last 7 to 6 months, and I honestly don't see any difference in my pan of the shade which I am using and the one which I'm not. So there's also like a lot of product in here which you can use for a very long time, so I thought recommending this one would probably be the best. So I'm using the shade Medium Cocoa, but I've also been really loving the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzers which they came out with. Those are incredible, honestly. I've been using the shade Rosewood, which is really nice. I've also recently gotten the NARS Laguna bronzer, which I also like. It's not really my favorite, but it's okay. I don't use it a lot. I usually tend to go more for my Too Faced or my Anastasia products. And also the Benefit Light Hula one. That's also really good if you have very fair skin like I do. And then for blush, if you've seen like my LA haul, you would know that in LA I went to visit Morphe. I am honestly really sad that I didn't pick up more of these palettes just because they're so good. This is their blush trio, and I have the one in the shade Pop of Coral. Their blushes, you guys, are absolutely amazing. I'm planning on like getting their blush palettes, just because these blushes are so nicely pigmented, but it doesn't make you look crazy when you apply too much. They're just really nice shades, and it just gives some more color to your cheeks. And honestly, I'm really sad that I only picked up this one, because I should have brought every single freaking blush trio. And I am applying this with a Anastasia A22 brush, which is my favorite one currently to apply blush with. So next up for highlighter. Asking myself what is the favorite highlighter of 2018 has probably also been like the hardest question of 2018. When picking out the products for this video, I think I started with like 8 favorite highlighters, but I luckily managed to get it down to 3 of my favorites, so I'm going to be sharing these ones with you. So the first one, I think that this is definitely one of the biggest highlighters of the year. That is of course the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Amrezy highlighter. This has been like the most iconic highlighter of this year. I think that everyone probably has this in their kit. Everybody knows about this freaking highlighter. 2 weeks ago they restocked it, and I immediately bought like 2 extra ones because I couldn't imagine living life without this highlighter. A second one which I've been really loving is the Morphe highlighter in the shade Extra. So this is kind of like my simple dupe for that one. It's just not as good, but it does the trick as well. And then next up, I've also been loving the Lancome Duo Finish highlighter in Shimmering Buff. This is a very light highlighter, but it has like golden undertones to it. So when using a highlighter which is a bit darker, I can kind of tone it down when going with this on top of it, which I really like, because this does in some lighting tend to look a bit too dark, especially if I put on a lot of highlighter. You can kind of see it, so therefore I like to use a combination of Anastasia Morphe with Lancome. But today I'm going to be using the most iconic highlighter of this year, the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Amrezy highlighter, and I'm applying this with a Morphe M510 brush. This is just, I mean, come on you guys. And then I also like to apply a bit above the brow bone, right there. And then I'm just kind of using my finger into the Lancome highlighter just to give it a bit of an extra punch and to kind of lighten it. And Amrezy is too dark for me in the sense of using it on my nose and my cupid's bow. It kind of just looks off in some weird way. So for that I really like to use the Lancome highlighter. And then now that my base is done, it's time to move on to the eyes. So for palettes, it was really freaking hard to choose some of my favorite palettes from 2018. I don't know what it has been with all of these brands releasing palettes, and just every like 2 months there has been a new one and a new one and a new one, maybe even quicker. Like, it has just been overwhelming. But I managed to cut it down to 3 palettes, which I have been so excited about, also like before they were launched and available. And just like the sneak previews of them have been so exciting for me that I managed to cut it down luckily. So first up, you already saw this one. This is the Dose of Colors Friendication palette. When I saw this on Instagram and everything, I was already so in love with it, especially the shade, which is Dirty Money, which is like this greenish color right here. It is so pretty, and these eyeshadows blend amazing. Like, I can do like a full glam look with this palette in like 5 minutes. It's insane. I highly recommend this palette for anyone who is looking for a good palette for Christmas and everything. Next up, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. I know a lot of people don't really like this palette because it is a cool tone palette, but I absolutely freaking love this palette so much. Finally, a cool tone palette. Like, all of these warm tone palettes are just so excessive. Like, I have a good orange shade, I have a good dark red shade, I don't have a good grey eyeshadow, but now I finally do. So I'm really happy that they came out with this palette. I've absolutely been loving it so much, especially like the shade Twig right here, and I can't still pronounce these names. Dystopian. This is such a pretty cool tone brown shade, and especially like this color Bloom in the palette as well. I really like that pop of color still between all of these very cool and dark shades, that I absolutely love this palette as well. And then last up, one of the palettes which I've actually owned of 2 this year, just because I was so excited. I couldn't wait for PR. I wanted it already when it launched. This is the Urban Decay Runaway palette, or Underrun, Born to Run. The hell. This is just a palette which I could bring anywhere and I would have enough eyeshadows to make any certain type of look. I think that this palette offers everything which you need if you are looking to buy a good palette just because you don't have a lot of eyeshadows yet. I highly recommend this palette. It just has everything, and the shades are so pretty as well. I love it. But as for today, I'm going to be applying these 2 shades from the Friendication palette, just because I want to go for like a simple kind of brown eyeshadowy look. So first up, I'm taking my Morphe M433 blending brush, and I'm going into the shade Necessity, and I'm just going to be applying this over my crease. And this is so nice and buildable. It doesn't have any fallout whatsoever. Then next up, I'm taking a smaller Estee Lauder brush, and I'm running this along my lower lash line and blending it a bit. And then next up, I'm going to be darkening the look up a bit with a Morphe M514 brush, which is a very small tapered blending brush, and the shade called Sheen. And this pigmentation, you guys, that is insane. So I'm just kind of laying down that color in my crease. And then going back in with that Morphe brush, I'm just kind of diffusing the edges a little bit. And then once again with that Estee Lauder brush, I'm putting a bit of that Sheen eyeshadow also on my lower lash line, just to kind of bring the whole look together. And I want to keep what is up down as well. And now last up, to like diffuse all of the edges, I'm going in with my Morphe M441 brush, and I'm just lightly, without any product on the brush, just going around the corners and diffusing it a bit more. So you might be wondering, Anna, why do your eyes look like this now? Don't stop, keep going. I am. Next up, for like a shimmering punch to the eyelid, I have been absolutely in love with the Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadows. I'm also really sad about this product that I didn't bring more. I only bought 3 colors. But these are just so freaking cool. They have such an amazing pigmentation. It's absolutely sickening. Like, what? So I'm going to be applying this to my lid area right here, just to finish off the look. Now for an inner highlighter, I'm going to be going back into my Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter. And I'm just applying a bit of this to the inner corner, and I'm putting it underneath my lower lash line as well. Now, just to kind of finish off this look and make it a bit more festive and holiday-ish, I wanted to add some glitter to the look. So a few weeks ago in PR, I got the NYX Professional Makeup Glitter Rolls, and this is the one in the shade Polished Pin-Up. These cream eyeshadows are absolutely amazing. I've been loving to use these like in the corner or underneath my inner corner, just to give a look a bit more of a punch. So I'm just applying a bit of that underneath the lower lash line. And you can see that like applying a glitter underneath your tear duct really opens up your eyes a whole lot more than just using a highlighter. So now that I am done with all of the eyeshadows, I'm going to be applying some mascara. For mascara, definitely my favorite of 2018 has been the Benefit Cosmetics Bad Gal Bang Mascara. I love, love, love this mascara so much. It just makes my lashes look absolutely amazing. It's really pigmented, it gives volume and lengthening and just everything I look for in a good mascara. And that, you guys, is the finished eye look. I don't have any like favorite lashes for 2018. I still use my Iconics from House of Lashes and my Sasha lashes from Huda Beauty all of the time, but I think that this look honestly doesn't need it, and the mascara is so great on its own that I really want to show off the product a bit more for this video. So this one, once again, was also really freaking hard for me to like get the products which I love the absolute most into this video, because I just love so much freaking products, you guys. It is absolutely insane. But first up, for some love and care for the lips, I have been obsessed with the NYX This Is Everything lip oil. I use this like day and night, and I have a smaller version which I got from the Advent, you know what I mean, calendar, which I have in my bag, and I also have the separate, or like the second mini version on my nightstand, so I can use it before I go to sleep. I've noticed like a big difference in my lips, because especially in the winter I get really freaking dry lips, and this helps to keep it kind of in check. Then first up, this has definitely been one of like my staple lipsticks of this year. This is the MAC Cosmetics Aaliyah collection, and this is in the shade Try Again. This is such a pretty nude yellow toned brown color, which I've been loving so much. I've been using it non-stop actually. I don't want to use it anymore because I'm scared I will run out, and you can't buy it anymore. Oh, that is such a struggle with like these limited edition collections. They bring out so many amazing products and then you can't buy them anymore. Next up, another lipstick which I've been loving is the Lime Crime Unicorn lipsticks, and this is in the color Birthday Suit. Again, such a freaking pretty nude. I am a sucker for nude lipsticks, and I really like this one as well. And then last up for lipsticks, another nude. I have been loving the Anastasia Beverly Hills Honey lipstick as well. This is just such a great color, you guys. I've used it a lot in my Instagram tutorials and also on a daily basis, just because these lipsticks were great throughout the day. They don't dry out my lips too much, the color stays put. So this formula definitely has been one of my favorites of 2018. Then as for a liquid lipstick, one of my favorites of all time probably is the Dose of Colors Scent liquid lipstick. This is such a great nude if you're as pale as I am. It has some more yellow to brownish undertones opposed to like pinkish undertones, which you see a whole lot in nudes, which I don't personally really enjoy in a liquid lipstick especially. So this one is like dear to me. I would take this to the grave, honestly. And then for lip glosses, I managed to pick out 3. First up, I have the Jouer Cosmetics Saint Tropez Lip Topper, which looks stunning. One thing which I don't really like about this is the applicator. I feel like I have to dunk in like 8 times to get a sufficient amount of product from the brush and onto my lips. So that's just something to keep in mind. But the product itself is absolutely freaking stunning. Then next up I have the Fenty Beauty Diamond Milk Lip Gloss. Stunning. It looks good with everything and it also smells really nice. And then last up I have the MAC Lip Gloss in the shade Scarcely Seen. I can't pronounce like product names to save my life. But this is also just a lipstick which looks great on top of a nude lipstick. So definitely also one of my favorites of this year. But to finish off this look, I'm going to be applying the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick. And then last up for setting sprays. This has been one of my favorites which came out in 2018. I'm still absolutely addicted to my Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, don't get me wrong. But this Gold Light Fix Plus from MAC is just so much freaking fun. I really like what they did with the idea of changing up their Fix Plus sprays. They also have a matte version which I don't use that much because I don't really get too oily. But this one is really pretty. So you have to give it a really good shake before using it. And I also like to put out the first spray because I always feel like there is a lot of pigment comes into this and it sprays out gold pigment. And it can kind of leave big sparks or chunks of pigment. But I noticed that if you spray out the first one, it doesn't happen that much. So here we go. And once this dries down, it kind of looks like you have highlighter all over your freaking face. It's absolutely insane, but it just looks so freaking pretty. So that is everything, you guys. This is the look which I've created with all of my favorite products from 2018. Even though all of these products may not necessarily be from 2018, they have been the products which I've been loving the most throughout this entire year. So on that note, 2018 has been an absolutely incredible year for me, traveling to LA, filming for Maybelline, growing so much on my Instagram and YouTube. It has been absolutely amazing and I still can't fathom everything which has happened. So I'm really excited to see what 2019 will have in store for me. And with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and taking the time out of your day. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and ring that bell so you'll be notified of the next videos which I will put out. And on that note, thank you and bye bye.